Hey guys, it's Sam. Welcome back to my channel. So I was, getting ready to film today because I did have one video for sure in mind that I wanted to film for you guys, which I'm actually going to film after this video. But before I film, I normally need to put on some kind of makeup. And I was trying to come up with an idea that I could film for you guys. I have already done like my holiday glam kind of look. I was thinking new products for 2020, but to be honest, a lot of the products I got didn't actually come out in 2020. They were like older products that I'm only getting a hold of now, so that wouldn't be a full video. And I ended up racking my brain for quite a while, and then I remembered something that I wasn't planning on doing because I think it sounds super hard. The One Dip Makeup Challenge. This is a challenge that huge beauty guru YouTubers have been doing. James Charles did it. I think Manny MUA did it. Nikki Tutorials. I watched ShanXO do it. And those are all pretty they're so extremely talented with makeup, but they're also all pretty full coverage makeup sort of people. I am not so much, so I'm hoping that that will be an advantage for me in a challenge like this, is that I don't wear super full coverage makeup, but I am still super nervous. So when I was picking out products to use in this video, I tried to be a little bit strategic and pick things that I either knew were like super powdery or would give me a lot of product. I also tried to make sure that any products I picked I could successfully get like a dip or a pump out of. So that means that for things like foundations and primers, I went with only things that either had a pump or So anyways, I went for things that were either that didn't have an endless supply of products. So like a squeeze could be anything. I could sit there and just go and get like a ton of product. I wanted to be very fair when doing this. Same thing for things like eyeliner. I'm not going to be using like felt liners or anything like that because that is an endless supply, assuming it's like fairly full. So I did my best to pull a bunch of products to actually turn this into a real challenge. So we will see how this goes. Another thing is, you guys will know that when I do primer and things like that, I normally use more than one primer. Same thing when I do concealer. I tend to use my NARS Complete Concealer and then another concealer over top. I'm not going to do that today. I am going to limit myself to only one of each kind of product, with the exception of eyeshadows. But when I do my eyes, one dip will have to do both eyes. So fingers crossed, let's see how this goes. So for a primer, I decided to use my new Rare Beauty primer. I'm going to try and do as much of the like pumps and dips on camera as possible so that you guys can see what I'm using. So I'm really hoping that we get like a full pump of the product. So are you guys ready? And I'm going to take that little bit off the end, and that is all we get. That is actually, I would say, a pretty good amount. I chose this primer mainly because it does a little bit of everything. So normally I would wear like a hydrating primer, and then I might put an illuminating primer over top, and then maybe a blurring primer, but this one sort of is a 3-in-1. It does a little bit of illuminizing, as you guys can see, which is good because a lot of times I would also mix like liquid luminizers into foundation. Now I don't have to. It's hydrating, which I desperately need, and I would normally wear some sort of a blurring primer in my T-zone and also on my nose, and we're not going to do that today. So that is primer. For foundation, and this is where I'm the most nervous, because a lot of my foundations I haven't primed in a while, or I don't use them the same one all the time. So we could get a really small pump out of this, but I'm going to try and use my Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I have cleaned off my palette. These are just hopefully you guys can see scratch marks so that you know that I'm not gonna get any extra product out of the palette or anything like that. I know that a lot of people do this on their hand. I don't want to do that either. I don't want to risk anything soaking up. So one pump. Oh my God. Okay. That's all we got. That's not a lot. So we're gonna just have to make this work as best as we can. This is gonna be super not full coverage. Also, I will let you know that the palette I chose today doesn't have a mirror in it, so you are gonna see this palette, but I promise you guys I'm not using anything out of it. Oh my god, this is... I don't like full coverage, so that might be my saving grace, but this is super not full coverage. Like, this is barely doing anything. We're gonna have to really rely on the concealer, because that's it. That's all I got. It might have been better for me to use like maybe like a sponge to do this, but oh well, that's what we got for coverage. Like I said, I'm not a full coverage person, so it's not bothering me too much, so long as the concealer stretches the long way. For concealer, we're gonna use my Hourglass Vanish concealer. Honestly, the reason I picked this is because it's super juicy, and I think I can get a lot of product on the wand, so this is all that I get to use, is whatever is on that doe foot. So we're gonna go a couple here, and we can flip and get some more product. Normally I wouldn't put this much concealer on my face, to be honest, but I can see where I've missed like an entire cheek of foundation. So I'm gonna say that I'm happy with that. I've already put it back in. We can't go back for another dip. I've already wet my beauty sponge. It is dirty, but there's no like I'll show you guys. There's no product on it. Just so you guys know, I'm not cheating. I normally go so much more like heavy coverage with my under eye concealer these days in the form of like 2 different concealers. So this is a little bit like kind of weird for me, but that's okay. We'll make it work. If everybody else that was a full coverage person could make this challenge work, I think it's like this challenge is made for those of us that don't like full coverage. So I'm really hoping that I can stretch this product. And I'm just trying to do a little blending over here because like you guys can see, like I missed a whole side of my face with that foundation. I might have a little bit left on this brush. I haven't put anything new on it. I'm just gonna try and like get the remnants of anything that's on there onto my face because that pump did not do it. I'm so envious. Some other people did 1 pump and it was like virtually what I would normally use of another foundation, but whatever, I chose what I chose. For a bronzer today, I thought I would kind of cheat the system a little bit, and rather than going with a powder bronzer and hope that it blends all the way out, we're going to use our NARS Laguna liquid bronzer. I'm going to use the same palette to put it in. Normally I'd put it on my hand. My fear with this is that this bronzer is known to be super finicky. Like if you don't pump it at the right angle, you won't get anything. So I'm going to just, okay, that can't count. Literally, there is nothing on here. So, okay, this one is taking a little priming, so I hope you guys won't like accuse me of cheating for this. So as soon as I see product, I will stop. There's product in there. Okay, product came out, that's all we're gonna use. So my hope with this was that this is such a heavy bronzer that even the smallest bit would stretch so far. So I just took a little bit just along there. I'm gonna go in for a second dip just into the palette, not into anywhere else. And then just some around the forehead just to give a little bit of depth. I've still got just a touch left, trying to really stretch it and get some on my cheeks, and I have literally just like scraping the bottom of the palette left. We're out, so I've got that little line, and I'm just gonna just put a little bit on my nose. So that's it for bronzer. We're gonna have a pale look kind of thing today. That's fine, no big deal. So I think that that's all of my like super liquidy things that we're gonna need. We're gonna go ahead with setting powder. So I'm gonna use my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder, and what I've done is I've gotten a bunch of it in the cap, and I'm just gonna do one really good, like, not roll, I'm not gonna roll the whole thing, but one really good dip with the beauty sponge. So that is what we are going to get. I'm gonna try and make sure that I kind of put like a dot everywhere that I really need it. So for me, I always like to set under my eyes and around my nose because those are the places that separate on me the most. Across my forehead. And we're out. That is all I get for setting powder. We're gonna close that. So for blush, kind of along the same lines that I was thinking with the bronzer, I want to go with some kind of like a liquid blush. So we're gonna use this Kaja blush. Now again, I wanna show you that I haven't used this in a while. There is product coming off. Okay, well, I'm gonna clean it off of here because I don't wanna cheat. I don't wanna use what's already on it. It's just not fair. So I'm gonna like clean as much excess off of the sponge as is humanly possible. Okay, now we're going to dip into here. I wonder, do I want to do it this way? You know what? Just to avoid cheating at all, I'm going to use my beauty sponge again. This thing's going to need to be desperately, desperately clean by the end of this, but that's okay. So once again, I'm just going to do one dip into this sponge, and hopefully that will give me... Oh God, okay, I didn't get very much. I only got this much, so we're going to have a light blush day as well, which is fine. I'm, again, not a big, hefty blush person. I just want enough to give me a little color, I guess, and change up some of the pastiness that I've already got going on my face. So that's blush. I really thought that this was so strategic and I was being so clever doing this, and it just backfired on me. So sad. I'm so sad. Next we're gonna do a highlighter. I didn't pick any kind of a liquid highlighter or anything for this, although I probably could have, but I decided instead to go with my Becca highlighter. This is one in Opal. So we get one dip. I'm gonna do a really, really good dip in there. Okay, and that's a lot of product. Like, this normally has no color on it. I was about to tap it off, but that seems like a horrible idea. So I don't even think I'm gonna need what's on this brush. Nope, I'm already like happy. I'll just kind of do a lot of highlighting, I guess, to give me some shine, but there's probably like a ton left over on here because I went in pretty heavy-handedly. Next up is one of the things I'm the most nervous for, and that is eyebrows. For me, I normally only use like brow pencil, so things like Benefits Precisely My Brow. I have a MAC brow pencil. I have an Urban Decay one, an Hourglass one, all of those. This is the only brow pomade I have. This is the Benefit Ka-Brow in shade 2. It's a cream brow gel. And I don't think I've ever used this particular one. So the brush is completely clean, as you guys can see. So no excess product to worry about there. Yeah, this is brand spanking new, so hopefully it's like juicy enough that I can get both brows. So one good dip. I don't even know if I got any product on here, so we're gonna have to be really, really strategic with where we put this. So I'm gonna put a bit there and a bit there. So I'm gonna have not very nicely done brows today. That's fine, whatever. I have definitely forgotten to do my brows before. It's not one of my concerns. I just didn't go in with enough product. I guess it wasn't as juicy as I thought. Like, you guys can see the small indentation that I made. I didn't get any product when I did that. It was just enough to kind of fill in the interior of my brows. That's fine. We'll have a mellow brow day today. Next, we are going to use some of my Painterly Paint Pot for my eyelids. Now, I always do this with my finger, so I'm going to do the same today, but I'm going to show you I will only take one like swipe of my finger for both eyes. So here it goes. So that is all that I get, is whatever's on that finger. So I'm going to just try and divvy it up and just hope that it stretches far enough. Now, I did lay down some of my foundation onto my eyelids as well, so that did give me a little bit of a base to work with, but not much of one. For an eyeshadow palette today, I tried to think of which one was super, super pigmented, super fun, also not really safe, because I think that's the fun in this. It's not supposed to be a safe challenge. Like, you're supposed to struggle with it and fail with it. So the palette that I chose is super pigmented, but a lot of fun colors. So today we're gonna play with the Zulu palette by Juvia's Place. I actually haven't played with this at all yet. My knowledge of their shadows I'm basing off of other palettes of theirs that I've tried. I really kind of want to play in some of these blues and this yellow today. So I think that's the way we're gonna go. And this is gonna really, really show like how rough. And this is why I needed another palette with a mirror, because this doesn't have one. So I'm gonna try and use as many like clean brushes as I have, just so that I'm not getting excess product or whatever. So first I've got a big fluffy brush. So I think I want to start in, oh my God, I'm so scared. Let's start in the yellow. So I'm gonna do like a good dip. One dip of yellow. Okay. So this is the thing, is normally like, and everybody else who's done this has said this, you normally like build eyeshadow and go in for multiple dips and build up the pigmentation over time. This is gonna be so difficult. So I want this in my crease. So I'm gonna just try and put like a bit there, and kind of go back and forth and try and make them as even as possible. I'm gonna bring you guys a little closer just so you guys can kind of see what I'm working with. That yellow went a long way. I wanted it, I was thinking that again, because I normally wear my eyeshadow like pretty low on my eyes, that I might not need as much. But that's a lot. I'm actually really impressed with that. So now I'm going to take, yeah, this brush is also clean, so we're gonna go in with this brush next, and I'm going to dip it into, I think I wasn't planning on it, but I do wanna use a little bit of the brown color just to really go in the socket of the crease. So ready? One dip. That's it, that's all we get. It's really hard to remember not to go back, oopsies, into a palette, and because I just misplaced that, I could have just screwed myself completely. I think that's one of the key takeaways I saw from everybody else doing this, is you have to be like very, very cognizant of doing a little on one eye and then a little on the other eye, just to make sure you distribute the product evenly. Otherwise, you're never gonna have enough to do both of them. Next brush, looking for, I know what I'm looking for, okay. I have a literally brand new MAC 221 brush. This is my favorite crease brush, so we're gonna use this, and this is brand new. I just took it out of the package, so you know it's got no product on it. And we're gonna dip into, I think I wanna do like the lime green and then use a bit of the turquoisey green, kind of to darken up, and then put the blue over the whole eye. That's my thought, so get into this green. I don't know how shimmers are gonna do on a brush, so one dip, one dip, one dip, one dip. I think I picked the right palette to do for this challenge. So it's going a little lower than I expected, and it's getting really muddy and kind of looking gross, but that's okay, whatever. I wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be a little risky. I wanted to do something daring. I'm gonna try and take a bit underneath as well. Again, that's that same brush, so no cheating there. The look I've got going right now reminds me a lot of the Melt Cosmetics Amore Eterno Vita palette. Is that what it's called? The one that's all those really pretty like greens and oranges and reds. That's kind of what this is reminding me of right now. But we're gonna get right out of that with a bit of the dark green, if I can find another brush. Okay, we'll use this brush. It's clean. So this is another brush. So we're gonna go into, I just stuck my finger in something, the dark turquoisey color. Again, one dip, big dip. Made sure to take a lot on that one. Oh, I wanted to tap it off, so I just kind of want this darkening up the outer corner. And I did want a little underneath too. I picked the wrong brush for going underneath, but I'll make it work. So I'm just going to blendy, blendy, blendy. All of that green. Just to kind of have a little transition-y kind of thing going. It's getting a little messy under the eyes here, but that's okay. Now, for the blue, I really want to use my finger to get the best result out of this. So we're going to do that, but again, I'm only going to do one really good dip into it, so here we go. Oh my god. One dip, I don't think that's enough. Okay. Okay. We got there. It's stretched just far enough for me to get both eyes covered. I still do have a bit on my finger, so I'm going to try and really scrape it into my inner corner because I don't really want to add another inner corner color. Unfortunately, when I did that, I did make a big mess of my face, just all here. It's because I feel like I don't have enough concealer on, but we're going to call that done with the eyeshadow palette. Now, the other scary part of this video, for an eyeliner, I'm going to use my MAC gel liner. It's a Pro Longwear Fluidline liner in Blacktrack. It is one of my all-time favorite eyeliners. And because it comes in a pot, it doesn't have an endless supply. So this is going to be really tricky. I'm going to have to really, really get in there with this angled brush. It's a clean angled brush, so nothing already on it. This better go better than the Cabral incident from earlier. So really getting in there. I think I actually have too much product on my brush. This could be really bad. That was the other thing I was afraid of, is like, oh, okay, maybe you won't get enough, but what if you get too much product? So we're going to have to be like almost like a stamp. So stamp. Oh my god. There's so much product. Okay, wow. There is so much product on this brush right now. It is going literally everywhere. I have got it all under my eye too, so I want you guys to watch as I like try and get rid of that so that you see I'm not like cheating, adding any more of any other product or concealer or anything like that. And I've also got a lot of it in that corner there. Oh well, we're gonna call that done, and I've still got a ton of product left on this brush. I'm really happy I went this way, but it was messy and it doesn't look great. I would say that if you're gonna do this makeup challenge, maybe don't do it on like a day when you need to go out of the house, because as you guys can see, this eye, much better than this eye, has a lot more of the color underneath. You know what? I still have the brush here. I promise I didn't put anything else on it. I'm just hoping that there's enough left. Are they a little better now? A little more even, maybe? I don't know. Like, I just left them over here, so I've got a little of that green too. Okay. I swear I didn't dip anymore. I haven't touched the palette. We're gonna call that good. For a mascara, I really wanted to challenge myself because I do have a lot of mascaras that like clump up a ton on the brush. And so you get a lot of product, but it seemed really unfair. So instead I decided to go with the Urban Decay Lash Freak to actually give myself a challenge. So ready? Oh, that's actually quite a bit too on there, but not as much as some of mine get. And now I'm also worried because there's so much and I really want to like scrape some off. But that seems like a bad idea. Okay, we're not going to. Yeah, there's a lot of product on this brush right now. It's going to get all over my face. I can feel it. And we'll do the lower lashes since we've got enough left, and that's that. So the only other thing that we have left is lips, but first we're gonna set our face. So I chose to use my, what's this called? You know what, before we set our face, let's actually do the lip just because I wanna give that mascara a little bit of time to dry, because if I spray now, it's gonna go everywhere. So for a lip today, I was originally gonna use, a NARS Velvet Lip Glide, but it was red, and that seemed a little too like Christmassy kind of thing. So instead I decided to use a Powermatte lip pigment. This is in Fly Robin Fly. It's from NARS as well. It came out in the Christmas collection last year. I'm a little nervous about this because it has the tiniest applicator, so I don't know that I'm going to be able to get my whole lip, but oh, please be good. This one has such good suction too. Okay. Ah, we've got a lot of product, guys. Look at that. That's enough. We can make this work. It's almost too much product. Yeah, so I made a mess of it. There's almost like too much product on here. All over my teeth. So, same thing. I haven't gone into any more. I'm just trying to get like a bit more definition on my lips, but I'd say that's pretty good. That was one dip for sure. It's looking a little weird right now. I'm gonna try and fix it with my finger. Okay, we're gonna call that done. I'm gonna stop fussing with it because it looks not all that bad. And it could have been worse. Again, I don't know. I guess if you wanted to use like a bullet lipstick, you would have to put it on a brush to do this properly, because again, when it's an endless supply of something like a stick highlighter or a stick foundation, a stick anything really, or a tube that doesn't have a defined, like, now mind you, everybody who's been doing the really hard dips, like, is that really defined as a dip? Yes, because you're not lifting your brush out, but you would normally never take a dip like that. So like I said, last thing, we're just going to spray some of this setting spray. I only get one spray. I picked this one because it's got like a nice wide spray zone. So hopefully I'm doing it close enough, but not too far away, not too close. Okay, I feel vaguely spritzed, so we're going to call that done. So this is the final look for me for the one dip makeup challenge. I'm not mad at the look. It is fun. It's a little out there. I don't think it was completely safe, which I also really liked. And I think that what this challenge is doing is showing some people that you don't need as much makeup as you think you need, because you watch all of those other people do it and they're like, normally I would take like 8 pumps of a foundation, or, you know, 8 dips of bronzer, concealer, all of this stuff. It really does show that you don't need as much makeup as you think you do to cover your face. You can stretch out a smaller amount. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one dip makeup challenge. If you have a YouTube channel and you have done a one dip challenge yourself, link it for me down below. I would love to watch it. I had so much fun watching everybody else do it. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye.